Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty. And as always, I got a pain in the butt next to me. Hello, Michael.
What it do?
Hey, you.
For some reason, it seemed like you are deathly quiet. But, it may be just you. You know how you don't like to talk on the mic. But it's all good. We're going to make it do what it do.
And that's why he's a pain in the butt.
How are you?
I am wonderful. And you?
I'm doing just fine. No complaints. And I actually have no stories this week. Not that I have stories every time we have a show.
You haven't seen your grandmother?
I have not seen her. Well, I have seen her, but we didn't talk about the last time because I was surprising you with the fact that I got a new vehicle.
Oh, yes.
And I did see her. We recorded, 2 weeks ago when we went to see Black Panther. Oh, we need to talk about Black Panther too. But I did go and see my grandmother earlier that day, and, she's still the same old crazy old lady that she's always been. We just had a good time, enjoying each other. And she's getting to that age where, she repeats herself a lot.
Yeah.
And, it's like something that kind of bothers me, but I just sit there, I let her talk, and I just enjoy the conversation, however many times it comes.
Get over it.
And she's still as crazy as ever.
What'd she say about your car?
She liked it, and she kept asking, are you sure that's your car? Because she's so used to me having that my red car, and every car that I've had has always been red, and now I have a silver vehicle. I wanted to switch it all the way up, switch from the bus
to a silver vehicle.
to a silver vehicle. But she loved it. She really liked the way it looks. 'Cause of course, it's clean. You know how I do. It's clean
for the moment.
Yeah. For the moment. And my coworkers, they kept looking in the back seat saying, when you going to start your Taco Bell Dorito collection? In the back. I said, that's not about to happen.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It is not going to happen. But, thankfully, thank God I'm rolling again. It feels so good to be mobile, to be able to come and go when you want to. And believe it or not, I still come home and do absolutely nothing.
I would.
Like today, my car hasn't moved. I mean, I went to work yesterday, of course, but I got home from work and my car's just been sitting there.
Well, I will tell the audience what you did to me. So last Saturday, or was it last Saturday? Last show, whatever day that was.
That was 2 weeks ago.
We recorded, and before I got here, JT called me and asked if he could ride with me.
Because we were planning to go see Black
Panther right after. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I guess that means I'm driving. And then I thought about it.
Well, anytime we go anywhere, you always drive. And we
even
complain.
Though y'all complain, though.
Because you can't drive. You were like a horrible driver.
But you know what?
But you get us there. So we're thankful.
If somebody was a horrible driver to me, I would not ride with them.
Well,
I care about my life.
I understand that.
But
now,
anyway,
you're not like
I can't
the worst.
Be that bad.
You're not the worst.
I'm not that bad because you're still in my car. But the whole time I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's right. I guess I gotta drive because Mike don't have a car. So
even on the show, you mentioned you driving, and you talked about whether my brother was coming, saying we need to be on skateboards, and everybody was sick.
Everybody was gonna get in the show, and everybody was sick, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have the cooties when I leave, all kind of stuff. And he says absolutely nothing. We get out, and I grab my keys, make sure I got everything. I head to my car, I go unlock my doors. I'm like, okay, everybody, we're gonna have to figure out how to pile in here. And he says, I'll drive, and I hear these doors unlock. And I'm like, you gonna drive what? Your skateboard guy? I was like, I'm not getting ready to get in a car with you that you know is gonna die, He's like, no, my car. And he goes over to some car, and I'm like, why is he playing? Whose car is he messing with? What is going on? I mean, I didn't know what was going on until the doors finally unlocked, because he even kept saying, it's unlocked, just push the button, we couldn't get in. It's like, yeah, until the doors opened, he got in and the car started. I was just like, what just happened?
I forgot about that part.
I want to surprise you. It's like, why?
Yeah, because you guys talk a lot of noise, and I just thought it'd be fun. It'll be a monumental moment, us going to see Black Panther and then riding in a new vehicle. We can't, put on the kente cloth and all that stuff that everybody else had on, but we can still arrive in style. But what was your thoughts on the movie? You know, we saw it. I've talked to everybody that I know that they know I love the movie. I went and saw it twice. You know, we ain't got to talk about it, but you thought it was amazing.
Amazing. It was nice to see so many beautiful, talented people of color,
right,
in one place, in one movie. And what really gets me is that prior to the movie coming out, there were so many people against it. There were so many people trying to create boycotts and make sure it didn't happen and all, make sure it didn't sell tickets. And this movie did amazing numbers.
Right. The first weekend, the second weekend, I mean, it was killing it.
I'm waiting to see what it does this weekend. Amazing
I'm sure it's still
numbers.
I'm sure it's still going to break more records. But like I said, I saw the movie twice. I enjoyed it. It's such an excellent movie. And you're always going to have the people that watch it a couple times and then start to nitpick and be like, well, it should have done this different. It should have done this. And there could be some things that I could say that, and one thing, I guess I don't want to spoil it. It's too early to spoil it.
I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it. It is worth whatever price it costs you to get in to go see it. It is worth the money. It does tell two different sides of Black people. It tells this side of Black people from the United States and Black people from Africa.
Right.
So their story, which
and it was also so relatable.
Well, and that's it. If you haven't read Trevor Noah's book, Born a Crime, I suggest you read it, because that book in itself gave me a lot of history just about Africa, and how, I don't want to say how symmetrical it was to us, but they went through a lot of the same things we went through, just in a different way.
Right.
And it just, the kinship that we actually have with Africans, it's there, and for whatever reason, it's still divided between us. And
right.
That's the thing that change.
Right. That's the thing that bothers me. And I almost don't want to talk about it, but regarding Killmonger's storyline and T'Challa, who was the Black Panther, regarding his storyline, I feel like we could have handled that situation so much differently if we sat down, actually had a conversation, because Killmonger was the only one who felt the way he did about us not helping our people. Nakia, she felt the same way, but she went about it differently. She wasn't coming with this rage and this anger. She was coming at it with what? If we don't want to go and help our people, I'm going to do it on my own. But I know this is what we should be doing.
Right. And it's just, you find yourself relating and understanding and wondering if you would actually be the villain here.
Right.
If this were a true world.
Mm-hmm.
Because coming from here, every African-American child I know coming from America can 100% relate to Killmonger.
Right.
100%.
I definitely was able to relate. Well, I will say the first time, and I mentioned this in my review, the first time I watched it, I really wasn't able to relate to him because I didn't understand his frustration. I didn't understand his anger and the fact that he was angry at who I considered the wrong people. Mm-hmm. I wanted them to come together and resolve this issue in a more diplomatic way that helps everybody. But the second time I watched it, I was able to actually pay more attention to the story. Mm-hmm. And that's when it became more, my eyes were open a lot more, and I was able to relate to Killmonger. And even though I still don't agree with his rage and his anger at T'Challa, I understood where he was coming from and what he was trying to do. And even some of the moves he made, I don't agree with, but I still understood them.
You understand it. We gotta do better, and not just in America.
This movie is showing us a way we can do better, and if we were more united, how things could be. If we would help each other and look out for each other and not backbite and try to pull each other down, how it could be.
It could change things. And it's so funny because how we are perceiving it here in America, how we are as Black people are taking it, Black Africans are doing the same thing. It's just in a different way.
Right.
To them, this means just as much as it does to us. And that to me is just phenomenal.
And it speaks to if we were actually unified, what kind of power we would have, what kind of movement we could actually make.
If we were unified.
If we were unified.
Too busy arguing with each other. I mean, and don't get me wrong, that's not necessarily, I can't say it's our fault. We didn't create the chaos, but we are now in a position where we can change the chaos.
Yeah, because a lot of times, because of the things that we've been through, we perpetuate the chaos.
Right, we perpetuate the situation.
The man doesn't necessarily have to do anything anymore. We do it to ourselves. The light skin versus dark skin and all of that stuff. We help perpetuate that.
You stepped on my shoe.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Just go.
No, sorry ain't gonna get it. I gotta pull out my gun and shoot at you.
You're not respecting me. Well, you're not respecting me either.
Yeah.
Who's gonna respect who first?
Right. And I just love the different conversations that this movie, even though it's a superhero movie, and you almost forget about that, that it's a superhero movie as you get into the story, and the different conversations that this movie has brought about. The different think pieces that it's prompted,
and the women.
The I forgot the name of them. Dodge,
the women.
Malarge or something like that. I got to find the name of it, but I was so proud of them. That showed strength, and it wasn't like the women are. Like they just put the women on this pedestal. No, it seemed like everybody showed strength. Everybody showed they were proudful in who they are, and they knew who they were.
They were equal, and not only that, the men didn't drop everything and run to protect the women. The women could protect themselves.
Yeah, and the women were actually protecting the
men,
king,
right? The king. But and not only that, the other thing is. There was actually a woman warrior group or troop at one time in Africa. Nothing but women. So this group of women actually existed to some extent. Now, in the comic book, they are betrothed to the king. So all of them are supposed to be the king's wives. Or at some point they're supposed to marry the king, but they protect him. They still protect him. They didn't write that into the movie, which I appreciate that because I don't want to see women as a bunch of pieces of meat.
And it probably would have changed the way people perceive
right. It would have
things.
changed the tone of the movie. But the women in this movie were amazing. They were smart. They were beautiful. They were
witty. They were confident. They were the shit.
Amazing.
They were exhibiting black queenhood. And it was everything.
As a black woman, I cannot even express how that made me feel to see women like that.
And the name of the group was the Dora Milaje. That was the name of what was her name? She wasn't the governor. She was the
Okoye?
Yeah, Okoye. What was her title? I
don't remember her title.
But
I don't even remember.
She did an awesome job. I love her because she plays on my show, The Walking Dead. And
she wear that bald head good.
She wears, but she on The Walking Dead, she got dreads.
She wear that bald head good.
And I liked her attitude about wearing the wigs. She's like, what? Let me just be me.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget all of that.
If you have not seen it, that scene will crack you up.
It's a really good movie, and I hope people are able to take something away from it because there were a lot of different messages in the movie.
Yeah.
So even if you have to see it more than once, do that because you can get something from this movie, like I did.
Yeah, I got a lot. I got a lot from it. I loved it.
And like I told you tonight, I want to go and see it. I want to see it again.
Wakanda for life. If Wakanda existed, I would be gone.
Sign me up.
My bags would be packed, and I would be more than happy to tell 45 bye bye.
Oh man.
But anywho, you got a bae for me today?
I do. I actually was not ready for you to say that. But this week, Black Achievement and Excellence, we are awarding to Melissa Harville LeBron. She's a 47-year-old single mother who was raising 3 biological children of her own, as well as 4 of her siblings' children. So she dealing with 7 kids. And somehow, through all of this, she became the first African-American woman to own a race team licensed by NASCAR. Now, how many black people even watch NASCAR?
I've been out there, but not because I had to watch them because I was working.
Well, see, that's different. And now we like fast cars just like everybody else, but for some reason I just have never been able to get into NASCAR. But to tell a little bit about her story. She went to like a NASCAR event and she took her 2 boys there because she was trying to really discourage them from being involved in stuff like this. But it had the opposite effect because they loved it. Of course, you got young men, you got fast cars, and
of course,
you got racing competition. Why wouldn't they love it? They ended up loving it. But one thing that she noticed while she was there that was how we weren't really represented.
Of course.
And several years later, several $100,000 later, she decided to start her own little company, and she created the E2 Northeast Motorsports under the umbrella of WM Stone Enterprises. And it's the first multicultural team to race competitively in NASCAR with 4 Black and Latino drivers, 2 of which are her own sons, Eric and Nico.
The 2 she was trying to talk out of this. That worked, Mom.
Shout out to Melissa Harville LeBron. She's doing something positive. Her kids are doing something positive, and you can't ask for anything more.
Right. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's talk politics. First of all, you heard Hope Hicks.
Yes.
Quit. Well, see, I'm confused. I'm like really confused because, see,
I felt like they were trying to put her on a pedestal. Wasn't she the one who was talking to Junior and said like, "Oh, nothing's going to happen"? I feel like she was trying to
like the perfect one.
Yes.
She was the model. She was the only one that could rein him in. She was the perfect one. Well, she sits down with the Senate committee and they asking her questions. A lot of them when she's hiding behind president confidentiality and all that crap. And she's not answering to, but at one point they ask her something and she says, well, sometimes I have to tell white lies for the president. Well, now hold on. I think that's funny, but I can kind of understand that you do. He's in a meeting when he's not really in a meeting. You tell little white lies for your boss.
Yeah, but the fact that everybody in his administration tells lies for him.
Well, the fact that we all also don't think that her white lies and my white lies are on the same
same level
at all.
No,
but so she makes this statement, and I get up and I turn on GMA first thing in the morning.
Good Morning America.
To wake myself up. So I can hit the gym. I'm half asleep.
After you're angry.
In my eyes. Yeah. Half asleep, crust all in my eyes, can't see nothing. I turn on the TV, roll over it. Hope Hicks has resigned. My head flew back so fast.
And see, like, what's happened? What's interesting to me.
Less than 24 hours later.
What's interesting to me is like the committee talks to all these people, and I don't believe that they are going to actually go after anybody. I don't trust at this point. I don't trust Congress. We know Democrats don't have enough numbers to be able to really do anything. So it's pretty much in the hands of Republicans, and they are allowing this president to do whatever the hell he wants to do. So the fact that she tells lies for him, who's surprised? He lies for himself. So
she resigned by the next morning.
Maybe it's to save face, one of those situations, because you admitted it.
The thing is, I'm not one of those people that are surprised by anything that happens.
Yeah, you can't
in this administration. These people cannot catch me off guard, or not off guard. They just can't surprise me anymore because I expect the bottom crusty crap at the bottom of the barrel from them. So, but this, it's like there's a thing of shock and there's a thing of really. It's just like, really? So,
that was interesting.
Now, y'all remember Roy Moore, right?
I remember Roy Moore.
Rode to the polls on his horse.
I still forgot to look up which state it was, but he rode to the poll in his horse, on his horse. I'm sorry, and that's the one that black women came out full force. It said, "Not today,
not today,
not today, Satan." And Doug Jones ended up winning. Yeah. Was it Alabama? I feel like it was Alabama.
Well, Mr. Moore put on his Facebook page a cry for help. He needs money.
For what?
All his funds have been depleted, and one of the women that accused him of doing things is suing him.
Okay.
And he ain't got no money.
So maybe he was expecting to get money from winning this election. He ain't got no brothers. All the Republicans were behind him, or a lot of them were behind him. Even through the pedophile accusations, or child predator accusations.
Got a fundraising campaign on Facebook asking for money, and I think he's asked for like 100,000, and he only at 32,000.
That's still a lot of money. You want me to help you support your troubles when you are a troublemaker. And this is like the second campaign. I feel like once he lost the election, he was having another campaign to basically for a recount or something like that.
Yeah.
So is it a GoFundMe?
I looked, and I don't think so. I went to try to find it and couldn't.
You were gonna donate?
No, heck no. I just wanted to make sure it was there, but it came from a news source that I trust. It came from the AP Press, and then of course it was presented to me from KMBC. Which is the
our
local
news
station.
station. Yeah.
So came from a reputable station. So I was like, okay, I guess it's true. And all I can say, you know, that karma thing. You know, some people call it karma.
I know all about it.
Some people call it God. You know, the moment when God steps in.
Yeah.
What goes around comes around. Whatever you call it, he just got hit in the butt with it.
Why they can't? Didn't they? He's the one whose wife was like, we can't be racist or something because we got a Jew lawyer.
A Jew for a lawyer. Well, you need to get a black man for a lawyer.
But can't they go in and borrow some money from their lawyer? Like, he ain't got no money. This is ridiculous. But, you know, it is what goes around comes around. It is what it is. I can't feel sorry for him.
My mama used to tell me all the time, what goes around comes around twice fold. You don't believe me? Just watch.
Mm-hmm.
In my 43 years, I've watched. And I see it happens. And the thing is, if you don't remember what you did wrong, you don't realize you're getting what you're getting because you did it. And so you continue to make the same mistake.
Yeah, it's going to repeat itself.
The same crap. Pay attention to what you're doing. When something bad goes on in my life, the very first thing I say to myself is, okay, who did I do what to? I just stop. Who did I do what to? Because I'm getting karma. Why am I getting this karma? Yeah, I want to learn my lesson. I don't want you to tell me but one time.
So you ain't got to repeat.
One time.
The first whooping was okay. You know, well, it wasn't okay. I definitely don't want another one.
One time. You only got to tell me once. So y'all remember 45 with the gun control? His solution was to give teachers guns, right?
Yeah, arm the teachers. And a lot of states started running with that and passing laws saying, to arm teachers.
It's one school that has armed teachers, takes the teachers out to the gun range every week. Teachers.
Every week?
Yeah, every week.
Okay.
And, his whole thing is the teachers love the students. So the teachers is going to take care of the students. Now, hold on now. I'm a black kid. I grew up in a public school district. I knew maybe one or two teachers that may have loved me. The rest of them didn't give a dang on about me. They just wanted their check, which wasn't much or nothing anyway.
When I was going to school, I would say I did have a lot of teachers that were actually, even though I thought they were mean and they didn't like students, once you got into the class and, got into the lessons or whatever, you realize that they only wanted you to succeed.
Now, you got teachers that want you to succeed.
I had more than just like two.
But you don't have teachers that, there's a difference between a teacher that wants you to succeed and a teacher that loves you.
Oh, love, I don't think is the word they should have used.
Well, and I do have teachers to this day I still talk to that I think really felt some type of love for me. Okay. And then there are teachers that were just good teachers. And then you got that handful of teachers that already mad because they getting paid crap. They can't afford nothing. They living living poorly.
Right.
They having some of them even got to get food stamps.
And the fact that you're dealing with an administration that's trying to basically crush the education system.
Right.
Don't want them to be able to write off the supplies they have to buy for the students.
They got to buy their own supplies.
And they don't get anything back from that.
Then not only that, and then the rules, you got to make students have this GPA, but you're not allowed to discipline students at all. And every child needs discipline of some sort, but you have no disciplinary action you can take, because some kid's mama is mad every time you call her up to the school because her kid acting a fool, and instead of telling her kid to act like he got some sense, she's fussing at the teacher for bringing me up here.
Yeah.
Why you done pulled me out of work, or you done woke me up, I was watching my soap, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So you got real issues, especially in public schools in the inner city. And now you want to give these teachers guns.
That's a lot.
Now, ain't none of this. All I could think of when I first heard it is some student is going to be shot. Just period.
And, with us being people of color, I think our concern is the fact that you have teachers that don't may not know how to deal with us, and they may take anything we say or anything we do as a threat. And now they have the means to
not just the means, but the right
to,
and the lawful ability to shoot you.
And I just feel like it's going to end up being more of us losing our lives
as usual. But before this can even get put on the table for real at Congress, because nobody's really looking into it. None of the governors want it. Nobody wants this. What happens in Atlanta? A teacher snaps. He got his little gun in his pocket at school, and he shoots his gun off in school. Kids are scrambling everywhere, hallways full of kids rushing, trying to get, because now a teacher has a gun in a school and he is shooting it.
And
what the hell?
Well, I'm just glad to hear that he wasn't shooting it at no students, but just imagine all the shit. Like, I know we were saying, the teachers, they stressed out, but sometimes dealing with these asshole kids, especially in today's age where everybody's trying to make a joke, everybody's trying to do this challenge and that challenge, and all you're trying to do is teach them. You ain't got time for the bullshit.
And so I
feel like every now and then I will pull my gun out, shoot it up in the air just to get everybody back in check. It may be frowned upon, but I guarantee you they gonna sit the hell down and listen, or run the hell out and give me peace.
This is my thing. Can you imagine the teacher stepping out of the room and all the kids in the class, they know the teacher's got guns. Let's search for the gun. Or what happens?
Or if they have it on them? Somebody that I was reading an article that brought up, for the teachers that do have like a relationship with their students, not like anything crazy, but just the fact that you're concerned about them. Every now and then those kids they start to feel some type of way about the teacher, so they may want to hug the teacher or whatever, and you got this gun on you, all over you, and now you have access to this teacher's gun, and you do whatever you want to do. Somebody's playing and pretending that they just want to hug, and then they take your gun and shoot. Now they have access. The one student that didn't have access to a gun now has access.
And who has been bullied and had these problems.
Yeah.
I posted on our page it was a 2-minute PSA. And if you haven't had a chance to look at it, go through. I don't remember the day. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm old.
You remember the name of it?
It was a PSA, so it really didn't have a name. But it's a video of a school shooting. And basically it starts out with a boy writing on the desk, "I'm bored," in the library, and somebody responds on the desk in the same library, but you only see this young man's point of view, where he sees somebody responds to him, and he's kind of caught up in this little romance on the board on the desk at school with somebody he doesn't know. And at the end of the year comes, and the kid here, they're getting ready to plan a dance. He's like, well, they signing yearbooks and all of that, and he's like, well, I guess I'm never gonna meet this person. And he meets her at the very end of the year. He runs into her and they start talking, and as they're talking, a guy comes in with his gun and starts shooting up the school. And then it stops in the middle, and it says to you, did you catch it? And then it shows you throughout the entire PSA, while you're focused on the boy, you're not focused on the kid in the background who's planning the mass shooting. And it just spoke to me. This PSA was so powerful. It just really spoke to me. And I think everybody needs to see it. And if you have not seen it, just go on there and kind of scroll down. And just it shouldn't be past the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And just check it out. Because if you pay attention to the kid in the background, he was being bullied, and he was plotting this mass shooting the entire PSA.
I don't even know what to say about that.
We really got to, I've said it before, we got to start paying attention to the way we treat people.
Oh yeah, I'd say that every day.
The way you treat people does matter, and you think, oh well, I don't know this person, I'll never run into him again, but it matters. It affects them,
and especially in a time, in a day and age where people feel like they can talk to you any kind of way, they can treat you any kind of way without any type of repercussions, and then get surprised when you snap at them. Like, we need to be respectful of others, and others should also be respectful of us. That's how life should go.
You respect somebody until they give you a reason not to. Not you got to respect me first, because if everybody comes from that point of view, nobody's going to get respect.
Right.
You respect people until they give you a reason not to.
Because you
and
also
it's
have to remember,
be a real reason.
Yeah, you also have to remember that not everybody was raised like you. Everybody believes the things that you believe. So when I walk into a room and I speak to or go to somebody's house and speak to them, not everybody, does that. I can say, and it pisses me off. I'll tell you that. When I'm walking just down the hallway and I see a coworker, I may not know them, but just I'm like, good morning, or hey, how's it going? And they just kind of look at you and then keep walking.
That lady in the store I didn't like today.
You want to snatch your good morning back and then snatch them too, but that's frowned upon, so you can't do that.
The store made me mad today because I'm running my little cart and I was looking the other way.
Running your what?
My cart. And I was looking.
You
I
sit
was
down
in the store.
You sit down in the cart.
Anyway, really? Can I run my carts while I'm sitting in it?
What does that mean?
I'm pushing my cart.
Oh, okay, pushing. Okay, I'm thinking you like sitting down in one of those where you like may not be able to walk. You do have asthma, so I thought you may be having an issue.
Really? No.
Okay.
So I'm pushing my little cart, and I kind of glanced the other way, and then accidentally tapped her. I didn't hit her hard.
Hit her like her body or her cart?
Her booty.
Okay.
And she had a lot of it, so she had some cushion. But the thing is, I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," because it was my fault.
Right.
I took responsibility. She just rolled her eyes and kept walking. Well, screw you, I ain't sorry.
Well, now that I could understand, because she didn't know your intentions. You could have been playing a game or whatever, because people do pranks and stuff like this. This is just where we are right now.
My sorry
was sincere,
very sincere, because I hit her and I felt bad. I was like, I'm really.
But you're also an adult, so you should be able to pay attention. You pushing a cart. What you looking at?
I was looking back to see if that was the aisle I needed to be in.
You ain't know how to stop and look back. Now,
anyway,
I would have gave you a ticket.
Oh, and that's fine. Again, I take responsibility. It was my fault.
Uh-huh.
And I apologize, but she didn't have to roll her eyes at me.
That's when these young kids would have been like, "Well, F you, be out," and then it would have escalated to something totally different.
I rolled my eyes back and it went on down the line. But my point being, be kind to one another.
Right.
I think Ellen says,
and it doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't, and it doesn't hurt you to say hello. It doesn't hurt you to smile. To be truthfully honest, these things actually make you feel better.
Yeah.
When you smile, you feel better. Somebody used to tell me that all the time, and I was like, "That's some bullshit." But it wasn't. When you smile, when you laugh, these things
it gives like
make
less
you
stress
feel
on your
better.
life, less stress on your heart,
Right.
less thought process. You just
So,
smile.
to be truthfully honest, it's gonna help you in the long run, and it helps that person who you don't even realize needs that help.
Yeah, because you don't know what they're going through. Like the bully that was, the guy that was
Right.
being bullied in the background. Just imagine if somebody probably didn't even see what was going on, but just happened to speak to him and say hi and show like an interest in his life.
Show some concern.
You know what? That could have probably prevented all of that.
Right.
But I'm guilty of this too. But sometimes we are so caught up in ourselves and the things that we have going on.
Everybody's guilty of that, because I am too. But
I know.
When you're shut up. When you are aware, I get caught up in my own life, but I still say hi to people when I'm out my house. I still send you crazy little text jokes.
Don't call them jokes. You bother me via text.
They funny to me.
I was
random stuff.
I was thinking about that just today when you sent that whatever it was. I said I don't even know what to do with this information.
Okay, so this is the problem. I cannot wear socks with holes in them.
Why?
Because that just bothers me. I don't care if it's a little bitty hole. I don't care if it's at the bottom of my foot and nobody will ever see it. I cannot wear a pair of socks with a hole in it. It bothers the crap out of me. I can literally feel where my skin is out of the hole.
I don't think it's that serious.
It is to me. I have this fetish. So I can't, well, not a fetish, because that don't sound right.
You got to freak it real quick.
Yeah, I have this thing about my feet and socks. And I don't wear socks unless I have to. So I wear my socks and tennis shoes and stuff like that. I hate getting socks with holes in them. Every time I turn around, I find a sock with a hole in it. How do holes get in your socks?
That's your karma.
Evidently.
Because you done treated somebody wrong, and
So
the
God
Lord knows
put a hole
you don't
in my
like
sock.
you don't like this. And you gonna text me, I keep finding holes in my socks.
I was so mad.
I stared at my phone. I said, how do I process
That's
this?
one of those things you don't really respond to. You just let
But
it
then
go.
you would have been like, did you get my text earlier? And it's like, you was talking about nonsense, and I couldn't do anything about. I said, I don't know how to help you with that. So
that should have been your response. You talking about nonsense again. That's always your response. That's gonna be your response from here.
If that's
on
the case,
out.
as long as you know what's coming,
But,
because
I mean, it's just random thoughts come to mind, and I share them with someone, and a lot of times it's you. It's either you or Cinnamon. Cinnamon's with the monkeys and the gorillas all the time.
she's busy, and I ain't got shit to do.
Yeah, she with orangutans.
So she got to pay attention.
Yeah, she need to pay attention.
Did I tell you about my new job with the orangutan?
No, I don't think your buddy would not be with orangutan.
No, I ain't trying to get my face snatched off.
Anywho. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about, which I thought this made me, especially after going to Wakanda, this made me look at this in like so many different ways. So if you read, this is one of the things I learned from Trevor Noah's book, but it's what they call South Africans, and it's Afrikans. These are normally, I want to say, Dutch and German settlers that came and took land from Africans long time ago. I think this even happened prior to slavery or right around slavery, somewhere around that time. But they took the land and they took over, and they were white people, and they were part of apartheid and all of this, and the separation of black people and white people, and they basically stole land from Africans. Well, now there's some new law in Parliament that is basically getting ready to be passed that will allow them to
take their
land back without compensation.
I've been thinking, so they're like, I can take my land back and I don't have to give you anything?
Well, I don't know who can actually take the land, but it will allow their land to be taken without payment.
This, there's a young lady that I watch her channel. It's Be Fabulous You, and I believe she has ties to South Africa, and she's been talking about this. And I think there's like a main, I don't know if he's like a president or some main guy who's spearheading this. And can you imagine?
And that's all I
if
can
you
think
could just
is,
come and take your shit back from people.
Mean,
you may not have taken my land, but I know this ain't yours.
Right.
This is my people, and you can take it back.
And to some degree, you want to say
that's eye-opening.
Whoa, Africa is taking itself back. And I'm like, maybe I will be saying bye 45.
Yes. Let me go find out, first of all, what tribe I belong to, what part of Africa my people are from,
right,
and go and take some shit back.
But I mean, this is so crazy to me. So now African refugees are asking for Donald Trump to let them come to America.
The white Africans, the white South Africans.
They're saying, just let us. Don't let the Somalians come.
Yeah, nobody. Just us.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on now one moment.
But
he bet not.
Well, but this isn't a far-fetched request.
No, it's not a far-fetched request.
This is something that he would
say,
consider.
Sure.
Because some way, somehow he would justify it. Just like he would say he didn't want people from these shithole countries. Send me some people from Norway. He probably considered them. He probably would consider these people some good people from Norway. They just had a hard time. Not everybody else.
It is a petition going around now, and that is what they are trying to do: get the white people from Africa.
And the fact that they would appeal to him, knowing that this is something that he would likely consider, says more about him than it does anything.
Yep. So I found this whole story very interesting because they do have a right to their land. And the people who are on the land now, no, it's not really their fault personally.
Yeah, they probably weren't the ones who stole the land originally.
Right, but you are gaining from it, from a crime, because what happened was a crime. And that's the thing about slavery and about apartheid and all of that they don't want to talk about. The white man came in and took something that did not belong to him. I was watching an episode of Criminal Minds today, and it was just an episode about a man who had been who had PTSD coming back from war, and they were saying that war is older than writing.
So we've been fighting
longer than we've been writing. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
just think about that.
It's innate in human nature to fight, to go into some place and try to take what does not belong to you. And all that makes me think of is that we are supposed to be the cream of the crop when it comes to the species on Earth. We have a brain and we're supposed to use it. And yet and still, after all of these years, we have not figured out that going in and taking something that does not belong to you is not right.
I feel like we figured that out. I think at some point people don't care. Because it's easier to take, even no matter how many lives are lost, it's easier to take than it is to build or create your own, especially when you're not a creative people. You have to take from creative people.
And it's not just that. It's we don't build for everyone. We only build for ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't build to take care of family, friends. And then once we take care of family and friends, take care of others because we can. We build to take care of us, and then, I want more. Yeah. I want more. I want more. Yeah. Some of the one percenters, what in God's name will they ever do with all that money? The one thing I like about Bill Gates is his money. He's not leaving to his kids. He's leaving them to different foundations when he passes. His children don't get their hands on his money. And I think that is
because
I'm sure I don't want to say cool.
That his kids they have money and they won't need everything that he has.
And I think that was his whole point. They will be able to support themselves.
Right.
He's teaching them how to support themselves. I don't mind you leaving some money to your kids. I get that.
Right.
Because that's one thing Black people have never done. We've never
had money to leave to our kids,
we don't
for the most part.
To our children. So, I don't have a problem with you leaving houses and monies to your kids, but there's only so much you can do with money. And that money, when they say money is the root of all evil, I believe that, because those who don't do evil things to get, and those who do evil things by not attempting to help those who don't.
And then sometimes under the guise of doing things to protect what they have.
Right.
Because you don't want somebody to come and take from you.
Because
that's, I guess, our animalistic instinct to go and take.
It doesn't make sense that we have as many problems as we have where big business takes everything. There should not be a handful of 1% and 2%ers, and then the other 98% of this country is either what's considered middle class, which I'm pushing us back to poor now, and people who are homeless. It makes absolutely no sense. We have homeless people in America. You know how many abandoned buildings we have in America?
Not even just abandoned buildings. We don't care about our people.
We don't care
We
about
don't care about even the people that go and fight for this country. They don't care about.
They don't care about.
They almost treat veterans like less than homeless people.
But yet and still want to turn around and have everybody fight for your country.
Yeah, and make sure you stand for that flag.
Oh,
it's ridiculous.
So,
our priorities
are so screwed up. So, to some degree, what's going on in South Africa, I think is kind of cool. But to some degree, I feel for the people who's losing their land.
But also cruel.
Right.
And we shouldn't have, it shouldn't be this way. But it never should have started this way. And that's the thing. It shouldn't have started this way.
It shouldn't have started this way. But I do think there's a better way to do that. Not compensate them for their land. But how about not just taking it from them, but, do they have to have all of it? I don't know. I just think it's a better way.
I feel like there may be a better way. I agree with you on that. But I feel like in the end, they should not be there. On land that was stolen from people who own this place. Like, so compensation, I feel like that's the only remedy to me. We're going to compensate you. We understand you guys help, take care of this land thus far, but it was never yours to begin with. So here's $5 and get to getting.
Can I get my 40 acres and a mule? That's all I want.
You're not going to get it.
Look, I will settle for 4 acres and you can keep the mule. How about that?
Can probably give you another dog.
I want no more. Nothing else is gonna cost me. Okay. Anyway, I do have one thing I want to mention. We talked about the new slave trade on an episode. God, it had to be months back, but there is a new form of slavery happening. Nigeria, Sudan.
We talk about the Libyans.
Yeah,
in Libya. What was happening in Libya? Okay.
And they're being traded to white countries.
I felt like when the world found out about it and the public found out about it, they pretty much stopped the slave trade and was trying to kick all the Libyans or the people that got there out.
No, it's still going on, which is why I'm mentioning this. CNN Freedom Project is a page or a site rather specifically built for this problem to keep the world knowledgeable about it. Google it, or it's you can go to www.cnn.com/specials/world/freedom-project. I know you're not going to remember that, so just Google CNN Freedom Project.
And if I can remember, I'll put the link in the description box.
So but definitely take a look. There's just stories of people that are actually really working this story and going over there and getting smuggled in and out to tell the stories of what's happening to people. And I think we all need to be aware of it. We don't need to let this sit in the back and just, think it's over, when in actuality it's going on very strongly.
You know what? Just maybe once a month. That'll be one of 2 episodes.
Right. They like we do that many a month.
But maybe once every couple of months, we do one episode where it's nothing but positive stuff. And we don't, maybe just remove ourselves from the bullshit that's going on. If we can find the positive. No, we're gonna make it a point to find the positive.
Because
and talk about that stuff. And even if we have to do a whole episode of Bays, Black achievements and excellence, if that's all we can find, just like the whole Black Panther situation and the Oprah and Ava DuVernay got a movie coming out this weekend.
Oh yes,
A Wrinkle in Time, which I plan.
Time.
I don't think I'll be able to see it this weekend, but I'm going to purchase some tickets for it tonight to make sure that I'm contributing, to the success of the movie. And the
little girl on this movie is amazing. I don't know her name, but she is amazing.
But if we can just kind of talk about stuff like that for an episode, just work our hardest, and because the world right now is just so. I feel like everybody is depressed because if you're paying attention, you're depressed.
You're depressed.
Otherwise, which I see why people check out, because it's too much going on. It's all negative. It seems like nobody gives a damn. And if you pay attention, you realize that nobody gives a damn, and that's depressing because it makes you want to, stop paying attention, stop giving a damn, and hate.
But here's the thing that I suggest you do. Do like I do. Wake up, hear all the bullshit, go to the gym and let off that steam.
Work it off.
Hey, and honestly, I think that if anything good has come out of his presidency, it is that I literally get up and go to the gym every morning.
That's good.
Work out
that is good.
because I can't, where I would have just said Obama's in office, I would have just rolled back over and fell asleep.
Because it wasn't going to be like too many controversies. It wasn't going to be like too many major changes. Anything to make you want to snatch somebody bald.
I wake up one or two ways now. I wake up and I'm mad, and I'm like, okay, go to the gym, work it off. I take that anger and put it into working the weight off. Or I wake up crying. And a couple of times I laid there in the bed halfway listening, and it'll talk about the kids from Florida.
The Parkville student. In Parkville, Florida, yeah.
And, and I, everything makes me cry, so I'll cry. Or, so many lives lost in this hurricane and that mudslide and this fire, and it'll make me cry. And then, of course, as soon as my eyes get wet, I'm up. So I have literally noticed that I am always up by 7:05. It is 5 minutes into the show. I'm up Monday through Friday because the news wakes me up. So I'm taking that as a good thing because it sends me to the gym.
You're using it for motivation.
So it's a lot of stuff, and it's bad, and especially for Black people, poor people, middle class folk, people struggling. It's bad. It's hard to watch and take anything good out of it. But just take what you see and pour it into something positive.
Right on.
But yeah, we can try that for the next show. See how y'all tell us how we do next show.
Yeah, I have faith that we can do it.
We can pull it off.
Yeah.
All right, we gonna try. Either funny stories or just positive stories.
Right on.
All right.
Which means probably no politics.
Yeah, we can't bring his name up because he just is.
Now, unless they do something, which I saw a video of 45 talking to some politicians and basically calling them out about why didn't you guys talk about raising the age of buying an AR-15 or an assault rifle from 18 to 21 because you're afraid of the NRA?
Yep, and then that night he had a meeting with the NRA. First thing the next morning, flip-flop.
That's what he does.
Wait a minute, I was watching The View and somebody said something about they asked Whoopi why she doesn't get upset when he flipped, or what did she expect him to do something different or something to that point. She compared him to a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Now, have you ever seen that Bugs Bunny cartoon where Bugs Bunny is the he's playing baseball, he's the umpire, he's the catcher, she said that's him. She's like, he wants to play every position, he forever flippity flop in every single position. She said, this is what I expect from him. I died. I was like, well, I remember that Bugs Bunny cartoon.
That's a good analogy.
But anywho, on that note, gonna say good night. You all have a lovely evening, and thank you so much for listening.
Peace.